While it's not the first time, imagine that your chief operating officer needed to step in because you have one of the largest leaks in your company's history, and this is what exactly happened to the Pokemon Company. Also, we have Battlefield absolutely shattering sales records and then immediately to fix its entire progression system. Also, we're heading to Mexico where government is trying to put a sin tax on your favorite shooter. And finally, David Cage is making a multiplayer game. Hello there, my muñaños gamers. This is Jesus from Geezus Gaming, and I welcome you to yet another new podcast episode of Continue News and Gaming. So, yeah, it's that kind of week. So, grab your drinks, settle in, and let's get into it. A brand new league has affected Nintendo's favorite subsidiary, the Pokemon Company. And first, I need you to understand something. This is not your typical, oh, a new blurry magazine scan leak. This is, without a doubt, one of the most chaotic and revealing weeks in the franchise history. So, I'll rewind a bit. You might remember the Terra leak from 2024, a massive 1 terabyte data breach from Game Freaks that allegedly contained, well, everything: future plans, source code, you name it. For a while, it was quiet. But this past week, it all came roaring back, and the main source amplifying it has been Centro Leaks on their X account and their official website. From October 12th on, they started dropping bombs, and these were small bombs indeed. We're talking about project names, timelines, and concept for the entire Pokemon roadmap all the way to 2030. They reposted logos for the rumored Generation 10 games, allegedly titled Pokémon Wind and Pokémon Wave, slated for a 2026 release. They drop a bombshell about the next Legend games, then a follow-up to Arceus and the upcoming Legend CA. According to the link, Project Ringo is Pokemon Legends Galar. Set at 1,000 years in the past, the entire concept is reportedly about the origins of the Gigantamax phenomenon and the creation of the very first Gigamax Pokeball. Now get this, the leak even included what it looks like the early in-game screenshots showing a player characters facing a massive wild titan-sized colossal, and the craziest detail? The internet pitch for this game, this Gala game, supposedly used Xenoblade Chronicle X as inspiration. Xenoblade. They're looking at the game's sense of scales for battling giant Pokemon. And that's not all. They leaked information on a DLC for Legend CA called Mega Dimensions, which allegedly details its roster of returning Pokemons. They even made a passing mention of a possible Pokemon multiplayer online game, and of course, the long rumored Black and White's remakes. It was a flood. For the few days, it was just like the usual leak cycle. We all speculated, we all had fun. And then we got to know that the Pokemon Company wasn't having fun. The company responded officially, and they did it in the loudest way possible. On October 16th, Centro Leaks posted a massive update. They have received a takedown notice, not from just their party legal team or any lawyers, but personally from Takato Utsunomiya, the chief operating officer of the Pokemon Company. Yes, the very same guy that you see in every Pokemon Presents Nintendo Direct. Usunojima-san personally sent a long list of posts of X demanding to be taken down for copyright infringement. And here's the kicker. Central Leaks is a massive display of defiance, tweeted, and I'm quoting here, funnily enough, they took the bait. Why? Because in that list of takedowns requests from the COO were the Pokemon Wind and Waves logo. In the world of leaks, this is the equivalent of a signed confession. By specifically targeting those logos' removal, the Pokemon Company has its eyes on Central and the entire community, confirmed that they're real. They confirmed 10 Gen is Wind and Wave. This is a catastrophe for the Pokemon Company's marketing, no doubt about it. The entire multi-year plan is now public, and for Central Leaks, they seem completely unbothered. They seem reminded their followers that they operate out of Peru, which they claim legal action is difficult to Nintendo or the Pokemon Company to pursue. And so there you have it. The Pokemon Company biggest secrets are out. The next 5 years of the game are on the table, and their attempt to shut it down just threw gasoline on the fire. Legends Galar inspired by Xenoblade? Gen 10 confirmed? What a time to be a Pokemon fan for the next few years. For the past few weeks, the launch of Battlefield 6 has been toppling the headlines, which launched on October 10th and had the entire weight of DICE, now Battlefield Studio, and the franchise reputation on its shoulder. After an unmitigated disaster that was Battlefield 2042, Electronic Arts needed to this be a hit. Some outlets have confirmed that Battlefield 6 has become the biggest launch in the series history. And let's just run the numbers because they are staggering. Over 7 million copies were sold in the first 3 days. The launch weekend saw over 172 million matches played and 50 million hours watched of streaming services. On Steam alone, it has peaked over 747,000 concurrent players, putting it in an all-time top 20 in the platform. Of course, this is a combat story, plain and simple. The beta was good, yours truly tried it out. The marketing was on point, and players were starving for good modern Battlefield, and in my opinion, they delivered. But it's a video game launch, and that means it wasn't perfect. Almost immediately, as millions of players flooded in, one massive complaint rose above all the others: the grind. The progression, by all accounts, was brutal. Players reported that it was taking hours to unlock a single attachment for one gun, weapons progression, career progressing, experience gain, or XP. It was all tuned to be an agonizing slow crawl. And this is Battlefield. Unlocking new scope, that better grip, that extended map, that's the core loop that keeps you playing. When that loop feels broken or disrespectful for your time, players notice. And what do gamers do when they find a system that they don't like? They break it. Within days, the Portal server browser was flooded with XP farm servers. Players were using Portal custom rules to create matches against bots with insane ticket counts, all designed for one purpose: to stand in a corner and farm bots for hours to unlock the attachment that were impossible to get in regular multiplayer. And it was a full-on players' rebellion. Now, here's where the story gets good and where Battlefield Studio proves they learned their lesson from 2042. Instead of letting this problem fester for months or just banning the XP farmers, the studio responded immediately and confirmed by some outlets, and of course the unofficial post for the official Battlefield comms account, a major progression update is already on the way. First, they're buffing XP across the board. You get an additional 10% for every match you simply complete and a massive 40% bump to the XP you get from daily bonuses. Second, and most importantly, they are fixing the attachment. They're dropping the XP requirement for attachments so that players will unlock them in the wars almost twice as fast. And finally, they're lowering the level requirements for a bunch of assignments, dropping them from a high level grind, like levels 20 and 26, down to a more manageable levels, like level 10 or level 15. Also, Battlefield Studio is clamping down on the XP farm servers, but they're doing it after they announcing the fix. They're basically saying, we get it, we're fixing the problem, so you don't need to do this anymore. This is indeed a new standard. A record-breaking launch, a massive community complaint, and a developer fix within the first weeks. This is how you build trust. Season 1 kicks off on October 28th, and with this fix in place, Battlefield 6 is on track to be one of the biggest success story of the year, and in my opinion, in the whole Battlefield franchise history too. A resounding gaming news is coming out from Mexico, and news broke that the Mexico Ministry of Finance has formally proposed a new tax as part of the 2026 economic package. And this is just a simple sales tax. It's a 8% special tax, or IEPS, that specifically targets violence video game. This will place games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, or Mortal Kombat in the same tax category as cigarettes, alcohol, and sugary drinks. It is a sin tax. Praise be by the Lord. This 8% tax will be applied to everything: the physical or digital sales of any games, any DLC, any microtransaction, and even online memberships associated with them. Games without violence, like Mario Kart or EA Sports FC, will be exempt. So, what's Mexico's government justification for this? Well, it's the same one we've been fighting since the 90s, and I already did a video back then when it was United States turn with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is they're claiming that their violent games cause violent behavior in society. And what's their proof? What a mountain of evidence they are using to justify the new national tax? According to multiple reports, one single academic article. That's it? Just one. This is frankly an insulting and archaic argument. It completely ignores decades of scientific research for major organizations like the Digital Games Research Association and even universities in Mexico like the UNAM, all of which have found no causal link between playing violent games and committing real world violence. Academics and industry experts are rightfully for calling this out. They have called it a cyclical demonization of the medium and no more accurate a fiscal maneuver. And let's be real. If the Mexican government truly believes Call of Duty was the root of violence, they will try to ban it. They just won't try to get an 8% cut. This is about public safety. It's about cash grab, plain and simple, targeting a booming industry. And analysis says that the impact will be massive. Mexico is one of the biggest gaming markets in the world, with over 72.6 million gamers and a market worth over $2.6 billion. So, in a simple mathematic, that $100 peso purchase suddenly becomes $124. That $70 new game gets even more expensive. This harms consumers, it harms retailers, and especially harms small studios try to compete in a very competitive and unfair market. And you know what else this does? It encourages piracy. When the legal version of a game is arbitrarily taxed, the black market suddenly looks more appealing. This is a lazy, uninformed, and purely political move that ignores the real structural cause of violence, like poverty and organized crime. To blame a scapegoat, they can profit now. We'll be watching this one very closely as it's moved through their legislature, but it is sad, it is lame, and it is weak that we are still having these kind of situations in the 2020s. All right, I'm gonna do a CTA, and besides inviting you to hitting that subscribe, notification bell, and like this video for everything gaming news, retro gaming, and new episodes for continue news and gaming with yours truly, Jesus GG. I'm gonna ask you to sit down for a bit, and I want you to think about the studio Quantic Dreams. What comes to your mind? Many surprising and good titles, and of course, David Cage. Pressing X to feel emotion, interactive drama, hyper-realistic faces, robot learning to love rain. What you don't think ever is a free-to-play competitive 3 versus 3 multiplayer game. Well, last week you can throw all the expectations out of the window because Quantic Dream officially announced its next big project, and it's the wildest pivot I ever seen from a studio in years. And it is called the Spellcasters Chronicles. So what it is, according to their official release, and I will be quoting the complete marketing presentation, the gods are gone. In their wake, a select few found they could channel the ancient energy called the Source and use it to weave fate. Sorcerers, shamans, mages, they are known as spellcasters and stand out on the brink of shaping the world's destiny. You're one of these spellcasters, a powerful mage capable of shaping the fate of the world. Fight for power and influence to control the source, the energy that fuels your magic. Spellcaster Chronicles is a free-to-play, team-based third-person action strategy game. Embody a mage commander and unleash chaos in the battlefield by summoning hordes of creatures and casting powerful spells in a multiplayer game where strategic play, skills, and creativity are rewarded. Will you be a spellcaster they fear or one they worship? In other words, you play as a powerful mage and team up with your allies to outplay your rivals, battle in mystical arenas, and unleash devastating spells that can attack your enemies, buff your allies, and even change the environment. Build strategies with your allies to turn the tide of the game in your favor and emerge victorious. Fly into the air and engage in dynamic aerial combat where your skills and your magic will help you prevail. Command your army from the skies and plan your next move toward victory. Your skill will define the outcome of a fight. Your strategy decides the outcome of the game. Think fast and act faster to secure your victory. Summon armies of hundreds among a wide roster of creatures, skeleton warriors, ogres, dragons. Every monster has a role. Build towers and structure to control the terrain and unleash colossal titans capable of shattering the battlegrounds and bend your enemies to your will. Build your own play style by equipping spells that suit your gameplay. Whether you want to play as a support, tank, or damage dealer, you can choose among an ever expanding list of more than 50 spells and summons from 7 schools of magic. Expand your arsenal by collecting knowledge to craft a new spells and summon and define your perfect deck. So let's do the too long don't read about this. The objective is just a team deathmatch. You have to capture altars to gain territory and ultimately destroy the enemy's life stones to win. This sounds ambitious. It's like Smite meets Magic the Gathering and meets Overwatch, but made by the guys behind Heavy Rain. This is the studio first ever multiplayer game. In the announcement, founders David Cage says that stepping into a genre with a fresh artistic approach has been both a challenge and a source of growth, allowing us to evolve as a team. This is Quantic Dream chasing the live services trend. It's a free-to-play model, which means season battle passes and a long-term content plan. Is this a good fit for them? Who knows? Are the fans who love Detroit Become Human for its branching narratives going to jump into a 3 versus 3 competitive deck builder? This feels like a new audience is the main target audiences here, but I don't really discard the possibility that true fans of Quantic Dreams will love to step in. Spellcasters Chronicles is getting a closed beta on PC via Steam before the end of this year, 2025. For my part, I am baffled. I am intrigued. I have no idea what to expect, but David Cage multiplayer game is officially on the 2025 bingo card, and it's free to play, so this is gonna be wild. Well, friends and gaming fans, this is all the news that we got for this week. My brain is kind of fried because, yeah, this is the too long don't read of a long script that I made with much news, and basically, I'm still processing all the leaks from Pokemon. I'm highly interested on Spellcaster Chronicles. Really disappointed with Mexico and of course Battlefield 6. I'm really looking forward. I got to confess that I haven't bought the game yet, despite I took part of the early invitations for the beta season that was in a few weeks, or I think it was like a bit of a month ago. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Are you hyped for the new Pokemon Layers Galar? Do you think that Battlefield Studios saved Battlefield 6 and the whole franchise itself? I want to read you all our opinions. So if you like more content about gaming, gaming news, gaming info, all gaming and new episodes for continued news and gaming, please consider hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell for your support, and thank you for your consideration. This was Geezus from Geezus Gaming, Health and Success, and happy gaming.